Hey everyone, we've got another pretty cool cube for you this time. We are drafting the Creatureless Cube by Ollie, aka Beaks, who recently ran the Boston Cube Party event. And just as its name implies, this is a cube with no creature cards in it at all, which is super interesting. There are still, ways to make tokens, there's still plenty of combat, but none of the cards in the cube actually are creatures. So I'm really excited for this one. This is going to be my second time drafting this cube. I did get to draft it in paper at Boston Cube Party. All right, let's do it. All right. So the first time I drafted this cube, I found that effects that make tokens are really important, as you might be able to guess. In the same way that creatures are really good in normal limited, they are definitely high picks here just because there aren't very many of them. So one card that I'm looking at here particularly is Ayula's Influence. Killer Service makes a bigger token, but it's a lot harder to actually turn it on. And none of these other cards are capable of making creatures here. I had a lot of success with just sort of a Naya creature aggro sort of build. I don't necessarily want to run exactly the same deck back, but I still think Ayula's Influence is going to be pretty powerful here. Okay, Malevolent Rumble is pretty cool. It is going to be a ramp spell that comes with a creature. Pestilence is also just an incredibly powerful card. Does it make sense to swerve here for Pestilence? And also, does Pestilence go down when people don't have as many creatures in their deck? Not sure. I'm going to grab this Pestilence. I think it's enough of a power outlier that it's worth trying. Ooh, Return to Dust. Okay, another thing that I learned about this cube is that almost all of the threats are artifacts or enchantments. When you look at stuff like Hexplate Wallbreaker or Sanguine Statuette, these are all ways to make a creature, but they still are artifacts or enchantments. So I found that naturalize effects are much better than normal here, and having two stapled to one card strikes me as very good. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to support all three of these multi-pip spells. Call of the Herd is a really high pick in my opinion. I had a lot of success with this card. So this is pointing me maybe towards green-white. I'm open to abandoning the Pestilence here. Yeah, I'm going to grab this Call of the Herd. I think this card is quite strong in this format. Oh, interesting. So Fell the Profane is really free, but it does bring us back into black. Null Brooch. This card seems kind of crazy here, right? Like it's discard your hand to counter anything. All you have to do is be a little bit ahead on board, and you can just counter all of your opponent's spells. I guess they can cast more than one spell in a turn. But I don't know, this card strikes me as really powerful here. It counters literally any spell. Let's give it a try. Enlightened Tutor is interesting. It can get our Null Brooch or our Ayula's Influence. Teleportation Circle seems much worse than normal because you can't flicker creatures with it. I wonder about Colossal Dreadmask. This is just a big creature. It does seem like it doesn't really go in the same deck as Null Brooch, because it's more expensive than Null Brooch and asks you to continue having it in your hand in the late game. But again, I think just on-rate creatures, like cards that are functionally creatures, are just really good here. Okay, our first pack is back here. I'm not super enamored with any of these cards. I wonder if we should take the Proving Ground to consider trying to splash back into black. Druid class is also kind of a is also kind of a creature. It just takes a long time to do it. But I wonder if the extra land drops are also worth it. Now it's looking like my colors are pretty dry. I don't love Estrid's Invocation here. Flood of Tears strikes me as potentially really powerful. Bouncing a bunch of creature tokens is kind of like Wrath of God. And then bouncing my own stuff that turns back into creatures is potentially good, like Dreadmask. Moving into a double blue spell. This is late for it. But also white is pretty dry. Wear and Tear, again, killing multiple things. Ether Snap can be a board wipe. It's going to kill all the creatures that exist in the cube because they're all tokens. Well, okay, almost all of them. There's creature lands and stuff like that. I don't know what the back of this card does. Oh, interesting. That's actually really good, but it's hard to flip. Let's try this. We're kind of in white, we're kind of in black. Oh, Ratchet Bomb is also really strong. Just kills all of the tokens, for the most part. Michiko's Reign of Truth also seems pretty strong. We could move into an artifacts and enchantments kind of thing. This does also turn into a creature. I'm going to lean a little slower. Let's take the Ratchet Bomb. I'm going to move the Flood of Tears to the sideboard for now. Maybe think about bringing the Pestilence back in. And now we have this Squirming Emergence. That's kind of weird. Let's take Idle. It's kind of interesting. Another way of making creatures. Oh, I guess we have to have a colorless source to actually activate this thing. I didn't look at that closely enough. Enlightened Tutor strikes me as really strong. It's kind of just Vamp Tutor in this format. That feels late to me. Alright, our fixing is terrible right now. But we have a direction. We're kind of slow. We're kind of controlling. Not feeling great about Mystic Forge. Approach of the Second Sun is definitely a slow, controlling white card. That's for sure. Restless Cottage seems really powerful. This is a pretty cool pack. There's two different fixing lands here that I think I might want in Restless Cottage or Temple Garden. So we might be able to bank on wheeling at least one of them. And the Black Splash is still pretty light, although Pestilence asks you to have a lot of black mana. I'm going to take the approach and continue drafting removal spells. Now we definitely have a game plan. Okay, Liquimetal Torque could be a ramp spell. Reckoner Bankbuster is also just great card advantage and eventually a threat. Savai Triumph fixes for two of our colors and also cycles. Maybe we should be doing that. I think we're really light on fixing right now. Mouth to Feed is another card that was really successful in my first go at this draft. The combination of Call of the Herd and Mouth to Feed just meant 3-mana 3/3s all day. And a lot of the decks in this format turned out to be too slow to deal with a 3-mana 3/3, which is of course the trap that I'm falling into as we speak. But I want to try something new. None of these fixing lands do the thing we want them to do. Treacherous Greed seems kind of awful in this format, I'm not going to lie. I don't feel good about Tech Edge either. What am I going to do with this pack? Yeah, this pack is kind of awful. Fixing land that's only half on color, but is still a creature land, versus single on color Triome that cycles at least. I don't think Armed with Proof really does anything here. Coveted Jewel does not seem good. Yeah, we're getting basically nothing out of this pack. I'll take I guess the Triome is double on color in the sense that it taps for black and for green. What is this going to be? Seal of Primordium? Seal of Primordium is kind of like Doomblade in this format. Okay, we'll give this one a try. Path of Annihilation is ramp and fixing. Temple Garden is real fixing. Maybe we want the Temple Garden. Our card quality is pretty high. I want to be able to cast all of our spells. Right now we just need fixing and removal. We have ways to win the game for sure. Contaminated Landscape can get a basic Plains or a basic Swamp. Krosan Grip is pretty good removal. But what I want is board wipes. I want some more Ratchet Bombs, basically. I'm going to take the fixing here. Restless Cottage came back. That's really important. This is a threat and also a fixing land. So again, Decommission can destroy a lot of relevant permanents. I think that's what this is going to be here. Treacherous Greed once again does almost nothing, so I think maybe this slow divination is just the closest thing we have to a playable in this pack. I don't think we have enough enchantments for Enchantress's Presence, so let's put this in the sideboard. War and Power Stone is totally fine in this deck, I think. There's no way we can cast Invoke Despair. Ooh, Path of Annihilation came back. I think that's going to be an important piece. Yeah, I like this card here. We have plenty of ways of naturalizing right now. I'm not super worried about the Gleeful Sabotage. What I am worried about is ways of sweeping up a bunch of tokens. Okay, we don't have anything for this final parting, I don't think, and I don't think we can cast the Beast Attack. Do we have anything that cares about being in our graveyard? I guess Call of the Herd technically. That doesn't seem good enough. Veil of Assimilation is not good here. Into the sideboard with you. And Chromatic Orrery. Maybe? I can't imagine that we're actually playing that card. Okay, what do we have here? Mana Confluence. Oh, Thousand Moons Smithy is actually really powerful. So this makes a big gnome when it enters the battlefield, and then it flips into this land that makes even more big gnomes. So it's kind of between that and Stirring Wildwood. Frankly, I think it might be the Wildwood. Myth Realized is also kind of nuts. It gets a lore counter every time you do anything, basically. Maybe we should consider this card. In hands where we find this early, it's almost going to play like a tempo deck. We can play this on turn 1, and then we can remove all of our opponent's stuff with our various naturalizes, and then crack in with a big enchantment creature. Okay, Overgrown Tomb is pretty important. Ooh, Boseiju though. Now this is a naturalize that goes in a land slot, and that strikes me as very powerful. Cindervines is also crazy. I got to have that card in my draft deck the first time I played the cube, and I mean, dealing your opponent 1 damage every time they cast a spell, full stop, is really good, and the card has even more text on top of that. In any case, I am going to take this Boseiju. I think it's likely we wheel the Overgrown Tomb because we saw that Restless Cottage really late last pack. Sphere of Annihilation is definitely a board wipe for tokens. Yeah, I like this. It's slow, but you can cast it early. It only costs 1 mana, I think this is better than something like Blind Obedience. And maybe if we're lucky we wheel the Field of the Dead. Maybe we should just draft that instead. That goes right in a land slot. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different land names right now. Probably playing 3 different kinds of basics. And we're going to be looking to pick up mostly fixing for the rest of the pack too. Yeah, I think field could be really important here. We could grab Scene of the Crime. It's just another thing for field. The problem is this card dies to tons and tons of cards in the format. You're kind of just asking to get Stone Rained. How about Rampage of the Valkyries? Oh, how about Oath of Kaya? Okay, this is a removal spell that gains a little bit of life, brings us into the late game. We don't actually have any Planeswalkers to trigger it, but it might be good enough on its own. Oh, how about this Feast of Succession? Kill all the creatures, become the monarch. That's kind of interesting too. Okay, let's try this card. Jetmir's Garden is 2 different colors for us. I don't think we want Castle Locthwain. Yeah, let's grab the garden. Probably Lair of the Hydra here. Witherbloom Command is another close pick. But we do have a lot of removal, and this is another land for Field of the Dead, which is going to be one of our main win conditions at this point. Alright, these cards are all terrible for us. So I'm going to draft Rustvale Bridge. Is that the card that's most likely to go in our deck? Probably. I don't think we're ever playing Entomb or Sarcomancy. Hall of Heliod's Generosity. Let's think for a second. We get Seal with it. I don't think we're playing Influence at this point. It's pretty much just Seal. So that's not actually that good. Maybe All Is Dust? That's funny. If we cast All Is Dust, we get to keep our Path of Annihilation. Okay, let's do it. Overgrown Tomb did come back. That's really good. I think we can probably include this Idol of False Gods at this point. We have Contaminated Landscape and Field of the Dead. We also have Worn Power Stone for that. And we have other ways of making Eldrazi, which can also make colorless. I wish we had one more. It might still be worth a slot. Scene of the Crime can make colorless mana. I still think that opening yourself up to getting Stone Rained is so bad. What if we played in a spell slot? Like we just play 19 lands and one of them is Scene of the Crime? Or something like that? It is a colorless source. And it can be cashed in for a card. If we go up a land with this, I think I'm happy to play it. Okay, this is going to be probably Sorcerous Spyglass. We have plenty of disenchants. I want something that can turn off Planeswalkers. One of the most terrifying cards I had to play against at Boston Cube Party was Teferi Time Raveler. It's just Doomblade that draws a card, and being able to preempt that kind of thing with Spyglass seems really good. Okay, can't cast or activate any of these cards. And both of these cards are still here. I think they're both quite bad. At least in our deck. Okay, I think this came out pretty well, honestly. Let's get these lands in here. So we're going to end up with 13 different land names in the deck, which I think should be plenty for Field of the Dead. And we're going to play probably 19 lands, I think. Just because of that Scene of the Crime, I think we're supposed to play it in a spell slot in this format. And I think this is an 18 land deck anyway. Sunset Revelry could be an important way to stabilize. Same with Potion of Healing. Druid class is an actual win condition. I think Call of the Herd just doesn't really slot into our game plan, despite my belief that that card is really powerful in this format. We are a little bit light on white sources. Temple Garden, Savai Triome, Contaminated Landscape. So that's going to be tough to cast this Return to Dust. But we get to play 9 basics. So if about 4 of them are white, and what do we have in terms of black sources? Landscape, Tomb, Cottage, Triome, Second Triome, Scene of the Crime. We have to play at least 1 basic swamp for our Contaminated Landscape, and playing a second one for our double black spells in case we draw the first one is probably also good. We're kind of light on green, besides the Colossal Dreadmask, but that's a late game spell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, tons of green sources here. Okay, I think the suggested 4, 2, 3 is pretty much right where I'm going to land here. So let's build it like this and take it for a spin. Alright, here's the build in Moto. I wasn't able to get that commander card from my rental service, the one that makes 2 clues and turns them into equipments. I don't see myself boarding that in, so probably not a big deal. And yeah, let's head into match 1. Alright, we are on the play in match 1. So we've got an early Lair of the Hydra, which we might be able to use to block. And we also have a 6 mana board wipe. This hand looks really slow, but the format is pretty slow too. I think I'm going to give this one a shot. Opponent mulligans to 6 cards. And yeah, we'll lead on Lair. X can't be 0. Restless Bivouac. That's a lot better than my creature land. Alright, another land here. Going to play the Forest in case we have to activate this someday. Fabrication Foundry. Oh, interesting. So it kind of gives all your other stuff craft. It's going to tap for mana, but only for artifacts. And then you can exile other artifacts to return things to the battlefield. I could just decommission it. I don't know if it's that high value of a target. Well, we'll hold it up and see what they do. Shockin' Sacred Foundry, and now they're going to cast an artifact. It is Mind Stone. That one I'm not worried about. Am I worried about this one? It makes a food token, then it draws a card, and then it makes a bunch of 1/1s. This one I'm more afraid of, I think. A Source of Creatures. I'm going to get rid of it with the trigger on the stack. Sorceress Spyglass. So this can name the Fabrication Foundry. Okay, let's take a peek at their hand, and we'll think about naming the Foundry. Alright, Seal of Cleansing is going to kill the Spyglass if I don't name it. Cranial Ram will eventually kill me, but it does die to Feast of Succession. I don't currently have a second black source. I think I'm just going to take the seal, just because if I don't, then it destroys my spyglass. Seal of Cleansing. Okay, so Starfield is going to kill me eventually. They're going to get their thing back, their saga. We found Field of the Dead. That will not let us cast Invasion this turn, but Invasion doesn't get anything back right now. I should have thought about that when I was spyglassing stuff. If I had gotten them to spend their seal, I could have gotten value on the Invasion. Now, this has 5 battle counters on it, so I can't kill it next turn. They're pretty far away from turning on the Starfield, though, too. So I think it's going to be Field, try to race them. Or I could try to kill the Invasion over 2 turns and get them with the back of it. Is it an enchantment on the back? Yeah, it is. So that can get sealed. Except it can't because the spyglass is on seal. Alright, I'm going to play this. It's going to take me 2 turns to flip it, but if I do flip it and they can't deal with it, I will probably win the game. Saga is back. Still no creatures, but they get another food. They are going to have a lot of hobbits pretty soon. I'm 1 mana away from attacking the Invasion for 5, so I'm probably just going to attack it for 3 next turn and play the field. Alright, Mind Stone down. They get a card back. Glimmer Lens, their first creature. Okay, Michiko's Rain as well. Seal of Primordium can kill the Starfield. And that's kind of the only relevant target for it. Because if I kill any other enchantments, then they just get it back. But they can get the Starfield back with Hall of Heliod's. So maybe I'm supposed to go for an artifact? I can go for Glimmer Lens. I think I want to start by attacking. Oh no, but if I do that, then I can't necessarily Seal of Primordium. This is tough. I could blank their whole turn by killing the Starfield. Oh, they can't cast the Starfield anymore because they sacked their Mind Stone. Okay, let's play the field and the seal. And activate this targeting Starfield. If they put it back on top in their upkeep, they can't cast it. Because this thing doesn't tap for enchantments. Okay, a bunch of big scary creatures. I'm going to have to draw an untapped black source here. 8/8, I'll go to 12. Go to 12. Teleportation circle. Okay, so they can make another rebel token. That's pretty bad because then even if I do draw into Feast of Succession, they're going to be making creatures. Oh, that's a crazy draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, there it is. I do have to still beat this Hall of Heliod's Generosity, and I am going to lose my battle. But it does kill a lot of their stuff. Restless Bivouac costs 3 to activate, so that's scary as well. But I think I'm winning the race if neither of us draw anything. They chose to commit to the board here. Contaminated Landscape is my 6th named land, but it does make my lair 1 bigger, so let's do it. Attack for 6. They're going to gain 3 end step, or are they going to make a 2/2? Yeah, okay. So they can hit me for 5 here. And they will draw a card. Oh, that's bad. So this thing becomes a 5/5 with haste whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control. Now, Path of Annihilation is going to make my Hydra a little bit smaller this turn. But it does let me feast. I wonder if we should feast now, kill the 2/2, get the Monarch. So let's see. If we spend 1, 2, 3, 4 mana on the path, then we have exactly 6 mana left over. We get to draw 1 card. They're going to draw a card when they attack me with their Restless Bivouac. I could block with, no, I can't because it costs all my mana. Well, I think I'm going to have to do it like that. If they have an enchantment, I'm dead anyway. So I'm going to need to find a way to draw out of this. Gonna make my 2 dudes. Oh, this isn't an activated ability of this. This is an activated ability of the Eldrazi. Okay, so this is bad. This does not do what I want it to do. Well, at least I can block. I can also crack the Landscape to wipe the board next turn. Oh, I guess they have on-board enchantment from the hall. Okay, so I was dead no matter what I did. This thing doesn't have reach, right? No. Okay, super dead. Flying in haste, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's head to the sideboard here. So we're playing against Enchantress, I guess, for the most part. I'm already playing all of the disenchants that I have. I'm also mysteriously not playing this Jetmir's Garden. Okay, well, we can cut, I think, a forest for that. I'll fix that after this match. Yeah, we don't have a lot of stuff in here that is specifically good against enchantments. So we'll just, we'll run it like this. All right, we're gonna take the play. And no lands. Well, 1 land, but not enough lands. This one is a lot better. Gonna keep this. Gonna put back the Feast. We're really far away from casting it. It's also a 6-drop. Two different naturalizes is pretty good. I hope we don't have to use the Boseiju as a naturalize, given our low land count here. But if we draw enough lands, then we get to use it as a naturalize. And therein lies the power of the card, of course. Now I will receive priority at all times just in case I want to Seal of Primordium my own Seal of Primordium. Cranial Ram. Well, I'm just going to kill that thing. I'm terrified of that. We found a plains, that's good. We don't have any artifact lands in our deck. Oh, that's not true. We have the clue. Huh. It doesn't fix us for mana, though, because we don't have any creatures. So drawing that doesn't get us any closer to really anything relevant. I think what I'm going to do is maybe... Oh, geez. Okay, we can just kill that. They do get the chance to... Oh, no, that costs mana. Okay, so they don't have the opportunity to create a 2/2. I'm just going to kill it right now. And that taps me out of Enlightened Tutor. What I was thinking about was getting Myth Realized with Enlightened Tutor. But not totally sure. I'm going to play this tapped, and we can figure out what we're tutoring for on their end step. We don't have really any spells left for the Myth Realized, but we can put mana into it to make it bigger, which is relevant. The other option is the ramp spell that makes Eldrazi. That can cast the battle, but it can't attack the battle. It also gets our Seal of Primordium back, which is going to be relevant probably. Let's see. The battle, that is. We could Idol of False Gods. That's kind of interesting. We can cast and activate that next turn. And then it starts to become a win condition. Or we can get Path of Annihilation and we can cast that and try and go into the battle plus Seal of Primordium. I think we want to play the line that's more controlling. I think that's our role here. And so I'm going to take the path so that we can kill their thing with Seal of Primordium. I think that's where I'm at. I don't think we have any creature spells with mana value 7 or greater in our deck in this cube with no creature spells in it. Oh, that's brutal. Okay, that is a huge blowout. Tunnel Grinder lets them wheel their hand, and then eventually it will start drawing them cards in the form of Discover. I don't think that's necessarily worth a Boseiju yet. If they flip it, we could Boseiju it. They discarded Dispeller's Capsule, Rip Apart, Rite of Bells and Lock. Savaitriome is a black source for our invasion, so that seems important. I'm going to play that, and then we're just going to pass. Holding up Boseiju just in case. We can actually get Boseiju back out of our graveyard if we feel that that's better than Seal. It gets us very close to Field of the Dead. Okay. Seal of Cleansing. So that will be able to kill my path, but I don't think that matters very much. It's just going to be here on the battlefield, hanging out. Okay. Gonna get back my own seal. That's funny. Sunset Revelry does practically nothing here. I need to wait for them to deal me damage. This will enter and get back the seal. They can kill it with Liquid Metal Torque plus Seal of Cleansing. I'm thinking about waiting for them to tap the Torque for mana and then killing the Seal of Cleansing with my Seal of Primordium. But we are also pretty far away from actually flipping the battle right now. Hard to say. We do have Boseiju in reserve as a second naturalize, but if we can make a 2/2 with it, we might be able to flip the battle. Dragon Wing Glider. I'm going to blow that up. I'm scared of this. Ooh, actually, if we take some damage... No, that doesn't matter. It's the same amount of damage. I'm going to blow it up now. They'll have a creature. We can make creatures with our Sunset Revelry. And we can also probably draw a card. Draw a card with it. Draw one card, yeah. Oh, Return to Dust is a crazy draw. So... we do have 3 white mana. We can play the Boseiju. We can exile... what are we thinking? Torque plus Cleansing. Draw a card with Revelry. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Maybe we should draw the card first. So we get 2 1/1s, and we get a card back. We drew Pestilence for turn. Can't even cast that card. Okay, I'm going to play this, and I'm going to go after... well, let's just go after Tunnel Grinder and Seal, because it is kind of a combo if they ever get one of their ways to get the Seal back. The Torque plus the Seal. That could be pretty dangerous. How many things does this need? 3? And then eventually it'll just start drawing them infinite cards. I wish I didn't have a target for the Seal. Even if it's an irrelevant one, it lets them put it into their graveyard. You can always put it into your graveyard anyway. I'm taking Torque. I'm taking Torque and Seal. I'm terrified of the prospect of getting Seal of Cleansing every turn for the rest of the game. Alright, they did kill my thing. Alright, what do we got? Scary 4-drop. Tamio's Journal. Scary 5-drop. Okay, we found all his dust. We can't cast it. Can't cast Pestilence either. We have nothing to do. Our attacks are bad. So pass the turn. They're going to draw an extra card every turn. And this game is definitely slipping away from us. The Saga is back. That's going to put a counter on their Rebel. So now we can't even trade with it even if we wanted to. Which we probably don't anyway. But I'm going to take 3 here. Scene of the crime enters tapped. That's awful. Well, scene of the crime. Here's our 2/2. And that's it, I guess. I could have attacked the battle, I guess. Draw a card. Let's see. Are we trading zombie and human for the Rebel? I think we are. They're going to have so many 1/1s. I guess if we draw a land and we all is dust and make a 2/2, we're like almost kind of doing something. Uh-oh. Okay, well, that gets around the All is Dust. But only kind of. We still get to kill the germ. No attacks. Approach of the second sun. Interesting. We can approach this turn, and then next turn we can All is Dust, and then we just have to kind of string together enough draw steps that we eventually get there. All right, let's go for it. They're going to draw another card. They, of course, don't have any counter magic. I don't believe there's any kind of indicator for Moto to tell you where the approach is. I know it does that on Arena, but does not here. All right, that Starfield is about to get really dangerous. I'm going to block aggressively. We can All is Dust next turn. That's going to kill this thing. Oh, never mind, they descended. How did they descend? Oh, from the saga. Okay. Well, as I said, I'm going to attack, I suppose. This doesn't seem to matter very much at all. I'm not trying to win with combat damage. I'm gonna cast this. Getting rid of the Starfield is probably the most relevant thing. The land is going to trigger only on permanent spells. Okay, that's good. And here's my zombie. Zombie making Scene of the Crime tap for black is probably important. That's our second source for Pestilence. Teleportation Circle turns Bitterthorn back into a 1/1, but other than that, doesn't do much of anything. Michiko's Reign of Truth makes a Glimmerlens. They just hit... Oh, I see. They just hit bigger things. They only have a couple spells left in their deck? Or all the cards that they're about to draw are all spells. Circle is going to bounce Glimmerlens and make a second creature. We can't really tap our zombie token for mana here. Oh, Croson Grip is a good draw. If we kill the Rain, then they're no longer presenting lethal. So I think we do that now before it can trigger. And then we cast Pestilence. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to tap our zombie token for mana. Black. Here's Pestilence. And now we will be able to kill the 2/2s and hopefully survive until the approach. We still haven't found Null Brooch, but I think it would have been really good in the last game and also in this game. We've been hellbent both times. Yep, as predicted, I did get Stone Rained by a Naturalist effect. Fortunately, the field is still on, but the fact that we've lost the Pestilence makes it a lot less likely that we actually survive. Oh, and they found the hall. That's really bad, because that puts Michiko's Rain back on top. I'm going to need Ratchet Bomb, basically. Okay, Foundry is back. This can kind of Recurring Nightmare their artifacts. That's going to get back the Glider, which is hasty. And I'm going to take 8 here. They can equip Bitterthorn if they want to make it 9. Yep, okay. And they're also going to get a basic out of their deck. They only have 8 cards left. They're drawing a card and they're grabbing a basic. Taking 9 down to 15. And now they get to flicker. Yeah, that one works. Either way, they get a 2/2. Got a swamp. I get to make a blocker. That's really all I can do. Is this optional? Draw a card. It is not. The other one is, of course, optional. Even if it weren't optional, they could always fail to find. Michiko's Rain is here for the flyer. Is that lethal? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then block 2 things, and I think I'm taking 13 down to 2 as it currently stands. Oh, but Cranial Ram will definitely kill me. They just slap that on the flyer, and then they also Michiko's it. And that thing is going to be humongous. I'm going to take 19 damage in the air. Sorry, 20. I forgot to count the Michiko's Reign of Truth as well. Super dead. GG's. Alright, we're on the draw in match 2. It looks like my 2 teammates won their matches. So we are 2-1 right now. Okay, this is 2 lands and a 2-drop. We're on the draw. We can't activate the idol. But if we do find a 3rd land, regardless of color, we get access to a Naturalize. This is really close. It's not actually that good, though. I think this is supposed to be a mulligan. Okay, this one is better. I'm going to keep this. I want to keep the green source. I think I'm going to put the basic swamp back. We can always fetch it later if we need to. And we already have colorless source for the idol. Idol plus Path is kind of a combo. Blind Obedience. Alright, that doesn't matter that much for my current game plan. Spawns sacrifice just as well when they're tapped. Opponent is 4 color something, that's for sure. Breeding Pool and Basic Plains in your deck that intends to activate Castle Locthwain. Pretty sick. Yeah, this will just be Plains and pass, I think. I'm going to make a spawn. And we can always decommission if we need to. Stirring Wildwood. That's a threat. Crawling Sensation. So this is the one that makes bugs. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Going to activate this. Now this needs 8 counters on it. Yeah. All right, well, let's Path of Annihilation. And we can sacrifice one spawn and tap the other one to activate the idol again. So that seems pretty good to me. Whoa, this says Eldrazi you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. We can actually tap the idol because it's a kindred artifact. That's awesome. If I had realized that sooner, I probably would have cast this Sorcerer's Spyglass. They're going to flash back Cabal Therapy. They don't know anything about my hand right now, right? They didn't cast that. They milled it. They're going to extort me. They named All Is Dust. Had they seen my hand already? I guess they might have seen that card in the draft. It's kind of funny that Path of Annihilation doesn't let you tap for colorless. Oh, combo. Cool. That's going to have to go. End step, I will activate this, paying a white and sacking this for a colorless. Now, do we want to take the risky line of killing the Blind Obedience and hoping they don't find any other ways of gaining life, getting an effective 2-for-1, or do we want to kill the actual threat? I guess we can check their hand first and see if they have a way of gaining life. We have to hang on to our colorless source. So let's tap like this. We still have the plains. Dawn of Hope makes lifelinkers. Okay, I think that might mean we have to go for the garden. Oh, but we can name Dawn of Hope. Stop them from making lifelinkers. But this hits any non-land permanent. Smokestack is very bad against me. That's pretty funny. So if we name Dawn of Hope, and then we kill Blind Obedience, then they buried in the garden us, and eventually they Dawn of Hope us. Okay, we're definitely naming Dawn of Hope. That's for sure. Now I think what we want to do is probably kill the Trudge Garden. They just have they have an obvious line to opening it back up. Now we can gain 3 life on this if we activate Idol right now. Okay. And then we'll decommission the Trudge Garden. I think we have enough colorless sources here that we can probably sack the contaminated landscape. Plus we have the scene of the crime. So let's do this like this. We can play the scene of the crime. That'll be our colorless source, and then we will grab Swamp later. I feel like for the moment we're ahead, but we're not doing much of anything. Eventually we'll be able to turn on the idol. But that's a long ways away, and they have a Stirring Wildwood. Smokestack, yep. We do get to make one extra permanent every turn. But they get to make probably more than one. Oh, I missed the landscape. Whoops. Colossal Dreadmask is a pretty good draw. This turns all of our Eldrazi spawns into terrifying threats. Let's do it. Let's actually undo the Scene of the Crime so that we can tap it for idol later. Great. That's going to enter tapped, and so is the token, but that's okay. Opponent unfortunately does know how to stack smokestack triggers correctly, so they're not going to lose their insect. Buried in the Garden, as expected. This is probably going to hit the Dread Mask. They want the idol. Okay. They're on the smokestack plan. And there's the Dawn of Hope that they cannot activate. But they can still draw cards with the Blind Obedience. I'm going to take one here. I'm not going to take one here. They want to block. Get a swamp. Okay, I am going to sack a spawn. I could also sack up plains. I've got a lot of mana. Spawns represent bodies that we can attach Colossal Dreadmask to. And sacking the redundant plains doesn't get us any further away from the Field of the Dead. Plus, the spawns are basically lands that are better than plains. Okay, plains it is. We drew Lair of the Hydra. That is a pretty good draw as well. Let's start off with the attack. Crack in for 6 with Trample. And here's the lair. I think in my next upkeep, in response to the trigger, I'm going to turn on the Lair of the Hydra, probably. Well, it doesn't have trample, I think. Yeah, so they can just block it with insect. Okay, Lotus Field is here. Lotus Field plus Smokestack strikes me as a bit of a nombo. They've got no attacks. Do I want to cash in the Scene of the Crime for a card? I don't think so. I'm going to sack 2 permanents here. What are they? I think they're spawns, because Field of the Dead is a crazy draw here. Having outs to that is maybe important. Can't sack the Spyglass. Maybe we even sack the Path of Annihilation. Do we feel like we have enough mana here? I wonder. Spawn plus Path. Path is kind of like sacking 4 lands, though. Alright, spawn, spawn. Drew a Plains. Okay. I guess the attack with the lair is kind of free. And Kraken. They've got something. Oh, we knew about that. Okay, they went with the germ. Yeah, Vanish into Memory is crazy in this format because none of the creatures really come back as creatures. It's kind of just exile target creature and then draw a bunch of cards. Now, I wonder if they're afraid of decking here. They went with the Dread Mask instead. No blocks. Interesting. They really want those insects for the smokestack? That is a lot of triggers. Yeah, they mill. They sacrifice 2 permanents. It's going to be 2 insects. And then I believe you don't use last known information for this effect. But let's see. Yeah, okay. They decided not to put another counter on the smokestack. They're happy with 2. Call it a feast. More tokens. They're drawing another card. If I draw the board wipe, it's going to be pretty hard for them to close out the game before they actually deck themselves. Is now the time to draw a card? Maybe. Oh, this can tap for itself. Okay. Undo this. Tap this. Activate this. Druid class. Interesting. That's horrible here. That's really bad. Okay, we need to start keeping creatures, but we're mostly attacking with them, so I think Path is done here. Overgrown Tomb. So, yeah, let's just equip here. Green, green. I do not want to pay 2 life. And I want to Kraken for 6 with Trample. Yep, Spellbomb. Next turn I get to have a real attack. They don't have to mill, so they're probably done milling at this point. They're going to sack 2... Oh, they sacked the Dawn of Hope. That means I can sack the Spyglass now. That's pretty big. Because I get to keep enough mana to actually equip the spawn token with the Dread Mask now. Tameo. Okay, that's pretty bad. They can't really uptick her though. What are they going to get back? Spell Bomb? Vanish? Vanish kills them probably. That's interesting. And this doesn't turn off the smokestack. Only spells and abilities your opponent's control. So they get 1 regrowth. They want Tangle Wire. Okay, Tangle Wire is fine. What is it, 4 the first time? No, Tangle Wire might actually kill me. I can tap the Spyglass and the Dread Mask for free. And I can also tap the land that I'm going to sack, also for free. But I'm 1 permanent short. I need to find an untapped land. Oh, they can stack them. They're their triggers. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, almost certainly dead here then. Sack this. Sack this. And now I have to tap a bunch of permanents. I'll tap this one. I'll tap this one. I will tap this one, and I'll tap this one. Approach too little too late, I think. I think they're going to take it. What a crazy deck. Okay, fading on top. They're going to choose not to mill, I imagine. Yep. And then they tap 3 things, one of which is going to be Smokestack and one of which is going to be Tangle Wire. What was their third thing? They chose Vampire Token, and then they sacked it to Smokestack. They could have tapped Buried in the Garden. That one would have been free. But if they were planning on sacking it anyway, doesn't matter. I have 1 more shot to try and equip the Dreadmaw onto the spawn. Oath of Kaya kills my spawn, so that might be it for me. Because now I have to sack 2 permanents. I can sack the Druid class and a land, but even if I do draw the land, I have nothing to put the Dread Mask onto. Are they going to have enough permanents to survive before they deck? I think they are. I do think we have to play this out, though. There are a lot of removal spells that could potentially keep me in this. If I draw Ratchet Bomb, I might get there. Okay, so we're going to sack the Dread Mask and the Druid class. These don't matter anymore. And then I'm going to tap 3 things. Yeah, so I do still have an out of Ratchet Bomb here. Shouldn't tap my only white source. Tap like this, then I still have access to black. I don't need double black, I don't think. Boseiju. Okay, so this doesn't kill the... This doesn't kill the tokens. It does kill the Buried in the Garden? No, it doesn't, because it has Shroud. And it's on a basic plains. I think the smokestack is necessary for my victory. Maybe not. They have a lot of permanents. If I kill the smokestack, then I can still block. Okay. I'm going to wait for them to sack stuff to their own smokestack, and then I'm going to kill it. Okay, tap their obvious things. Sack Oath of Kaya, and... Oh, interesting. They sacked Sterling Grove. So that lets me get back the idol. But I don't think that matters. They crack in for 2. I will take 2. They'll gain 2. What a wild game. Lotus Field for Savine's Wreck. Targets are Bastion of Remembrance. Okay. That makes another 1/1. Kills me a little bit faster. They get to drain me for 1 more. But I'm not quite dead in 2 turns, so if I kill their smokestack and I draw running lands and I gain 7 life, I think I get there. Or if I draw Ratchet Bomb. Kill the smokestack. They got a land. They've got 5 cards left. I have to tap 2 things. Going to tap these 2 things. Unless I want to block. Maybe I do want to block. Tap these 2 things. I want a white source though, in case I draw something. Alright. I drew Return to Dust. Can't cast that card at all. I can make my Lair of the Hydra a 1/1. And trade it away, but that seems really bad. So Return to Dust will be really good if I find a second white source. I don't know if I even have any white sources left. I guess I probably do. There's 20 cards left in my library. Okay, take 3, down to 7. I think I'm probably dead now. Oh, definitely dead now. Sick. I will discard a card, and then I'll discard a card. And then I will die. Holy. Alright, well, strap in, because here comes the next one. What is good against stacks? Wow, okay. Ayula's Influence, that doesn't actually make more game objects. It just turns one game object into a different kind of game object. Call of the Herd, maybe, but probably not. Sarcomancy is 2 game objects. That feels pretty loose. And Veil of Assimilation doesn't really do anything. Okay, I don't think our board is good against this opponent. Going to leave it as is. Gonna take the play. And we need something fast. So normally a 7 land hand is not exactly fast. However, one of the lands is a creature land, and another one of the lands is a naturalize. So this is maybe secretly kind of good. I'm going to give this a try. This thing also makes food tokens, right? Yeah. So that's insane against smokestacks. And also Tanglewire, for that matter. Sunset Revelry. Not yet. I do get to draw a card off of it. I don't know if that's going to be worth it, though. Let's play tap land. And say go. There's Sterling Grove. That's going to make my Boseiju a lot worse. I wonder if we should try to play this Sunset Revelry before it stops cantripping. Scene of the Crime plus Idol of the False Gods is pretty good, but it does run the risk of getting Stone Rained. That's interesting. Is it better to turn it on as soon as possible? Making 0/1s is probably important against this opponent. I think I'm gonna run it out, even though it's risky. I have no other colorless sources right now. Crawling Sensation, okay. That is going to make the Sunset Revelry a little bit better. I'm going to play this tapped and then plan to activate the idol. With the possibility of Boseiju if necessary. I think killing the smokestack if it comes down is going to be important. Spell Bomb, okay. I can bounce a token. Activate. Ooh, Dread Mask. Okay, that's a good draw. So this turn is going to be activate Restless Cottage, and then next turn Dread Mask. I think that's good. Let's do it. What do we want to exile? Did we see anything besides Tamiyo that matters? I'm not sure. Target Bastion, I guess. The first insect arrives. Temple Garden and Trudge Garden. Just a garden theme deck over there. So Dread Mask gets bounced by Spell Bomb. Or rather the token does. I wonder about getting this Ratchet Bomb down early and trying to kill bigger things with it. They do have blue up for the cottage. Maybe we attack with the cottage, and if they bounce it, we play it again. That does get rid of the Spell Bomb. But it wastes our entire turn. They don't have any way of gaining life right now, so I'm not too worried about the Trudge Garden. Yeah. I think maybe we just let them time walk us. We could also Dread Mask. Maybe Dread Mask is better because if they bounce the token, we just re-equip it. Okay, sold. They milled Savine's Wreck. That's really good. Next turn we can animate the cottage, and they have to choose between bouncing the germ and bouncing the cottage. I would like to be able to snipe the Savine's Reclamation if possible. But they don't have a lot of relevant things to get back with it at the moment. Okay, Buried in the Garden is a crazy good draw. I get to take the mask and the token. And it has Shroud. So that's really bad. Now we don't get to attack with the cottage because they can just bounce it easily. Tough. Okay, Field of the Dead is our 6th named land. Sunset Revelry is a million years away from drawing us a card. We can play the Ratchet Bomb and try to take it up to like 3 or 4. That might be fine, actually. Or we can just make more 0/1s. Okay, let's field first. Now, if we activate Restless Cottage and attack with it, they just Savine's Wreck back the Ether Spell Bomb. Okay, I think it's going to be Ratchet Bomb pass. And we can wait to see what they do to decide if we want to counter on it or not. Next turn, we start making zombies. I actually don't want to crack the food here. It makes the Sunset Revelry worse. It gives us 1 fewer permanent for Smokestack and Tanglewire. I think the artifact is just way more relevant than the 3 life in this particular situation. Dawn of Hope. Well, that sucks. It does mean I think we're supposed to take the Ratchet Bomb up to 2, though. We could activate the Restless Cottage and try to block here, but it's pretty free for them to crack the Spell Bomb and buy it back. We really have to find a way to get rid of the Savine's Reclamation before we crack the Ratchet Bomb, though. So maybe forcing them to use it is good. It does turn our Field of the Dead off, though. Okay, let's take 2. End step, counter. Okay, Decommission can get us through Sterling Grove. I think we want to hang on to this until we crack the Ratchet Bomb, because then we can crack the Ratchet Bomb for 2 and then kill a bunch of other stuff while their guard is down. Field of the Dead trigger is good. Why did that enter untapped? Oh, no, I played the Swamp. God, I'm going crazy. That's probably all we have here. Yeah, they get a 1/1. We lose our Idol of the False Gods to the Ratchet Bomb, but that's it. Gonna block the Lifelinker. They do get to draw a card here. I guess I could have blocked with Spawn Token and then sacked it. That might have been smarter. Now they have a 4/4. end step charge counter. And 0/1. Okay. Enlightened Tutor. Okay, so if we crack the Ratchet Bomb, we get the Dawn of Hope and the Sterling Grove, and then we go for the Trudge Garden and the Crawling and the Buried in the Garden, probably. Let's start by cracking this and seeing what they do. They're going to search for an enchantment and put it on top. Rampage of the Valkyries. I have no idea what this card does. Oh, this is the one we saw in the draft. Okay, scary. So we get to kill their Buried in the Garden, and they don't get to search if they want to keep their thing that they just tutored for. I can't tell whether or not they searched based on the log here. I'm going to guess they didn't. And then I think I am going to try to get them to use the Spell Bomb. I want to keep a white mana up here for the decommission. That's fine. No attacks. Second main, make a zombie. And then decommission the Trudge Garden. Because, right, this thing gains life? Yeah. And I will gain 3 life off of that. Oh boy. This is absolutely brain burning. Do I want to stop in my upkeep for Enlightened Tutor? I think I do. What is my get here? No clue. Savine's Wreck. As expected, this is going to target Blind Obedience and Trudge Garden. Yeah, makes sense. I am going to cast this in my upkeep. And we're going to go for... Oh, interesting. We could get Seal of Primordium and kill the Trudge Garden again. I think we're ahead enough on board that that's actually worth it. Okay, cast this. Get rid of the Trudge Garden again. We do have an activation on the Restless Cottage, so let's do that. Well, maybe we should wait until the beast is gone. Okay, never mind. Instead, we will attack for 6. They're going to trade. So I think I'm going to spend my... Oh, they realized I can just re-equip, so they're good. And now Revelry can draw a card. And also make 2 1/1s. Potion of Healing. Sure. Well, actually, we want the blockers. We want the blockers for the beast. If they attack with the beast, we're kind of winning the race anyway, though. And this also gains us a life. All right, let's just cast this now for more mana efficiency. It also pays us off if we draw a land. No. Okay, that's a great draw anyway, though. I am going to yield through this turn. Okay, there's the Rampage. They're going to drain me for 1. They're going to make a 4/4 flyer. And I have to sack a creature when that 4/4 flyer dies. I'm just going to take 4 here. I can actually kill the Rampage first. Oh, I can get rid of this stop. No more stop. Swamp makes a 2/2. Return to Dust kills Rampage and probably Blind Obedience. I don't think I care much about Crawling Sensation at this point. Let's attack for 6. Oh, I could have turned on the Cottage. Would that have been worth trading with the Angel? Possibly. I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 land names. So I actually don't want to draw a card off the Scene of the Crime right now, because if I draw another basic, I will not trigger my field. I am feeling pretty comfortable about gaining life if I need to with the food and the potion. Okay, I'm going to triple block this thing. I think we've gotten to the point where Tanglewire and Smokestack are both really bad for my opponent if they resolve them. Call of the Feast makes a bunch of tokens, that's fine. Just gonna keep bashing with my Colossal Dreadmaw over here. End step, I will go ahead and gain some life. And probably off this one too. Oh, Invasion. Okay, that's a pretty good draw. So we can get back Seal of Primordium or Boseiju or Ratchet Bomb or Idol. I think it's just use this as a naturalize. I think it is probably time to crack in with the Cottage. No, better off using this as a naturalize. We can do that post-combat. Get in for 6. Okay, finally got the block with the Angel token. So instead of casting the battle, I think we're just going to re-equip. Let's put this on Zombie, just so it's a little bit bigger. All right, Oath of Kaya is here. No attacks, and looks like my go. Krosan Grip. Yeah, I don't know. We're at the point where we probably are just slamming. This can target nothing relevant, probably. I'll target Ether Spellbomb. You're going to see the quadruple block here, makes sense. They're going to gain 3 up to 12, and then they're going to take 8 down to 4. And then hopefully Corrosive Grip is enough to get the job done. I'm gonna not gain the life here. I'm back to just not really caring about anything besides potential stacks pieces at this point. Let's try killing them first. Yep. That does put them to 3. And I don't think I have anything in my graveyard to deal them an extra damage. Or rather, they take 3, it puts them to 1. Oh, that's funny. Trigger the Crawling Sensation. And I am going to slam the Null Brooch. Vanish into memory. Okay, I'll counter it. They have a second answer? Okay, well, I'm going to scoop the match. I obviously can't win a game in 2 minutes. So sorry for the anticlimactic ending there, but what a cool deck from my opponent. Alright, we are on the draw in match 3. We finally found Myth Realized, which is kind of cool. We can't cast it early, but we might be able to cast it early-ish. I think the curve on this hand is good. Tap land into Seal of Primordium. I'm going to keep it. Millennium Calendar. Alright. This thing eventually kills me in 10 million turns, but probably not through Seal of Primordium. This card is so cool. I don't think it is very good, though. I could see it in a deck that looks like mine, maybe? Maybe their deck is also really slow. Here's my lair and my seal. Still no white source for that Myth Realized. The team draft, by the way, is 3-3 right now. I don't know if we're going to be able to finish it out. I think 1 or 2 people dropped for time reasons after that absolutely grueling match. Potion of Healing also can't cast. So I guess we'll just chill. We can make Lair into a 1-1, but that seems worse than holding up a Seiju. Up to 10 counters. 14 counters. This triggers immediately when it gets the 1000th counter, and I lose 1000 life. It doesn't even say that I lose the game or anything like that. Oh, that's funny. Evolving Wilds. Must be nice. My mana's terrible over here. They're just in 4 colors stuff. And I am in 3 color stuff, missing one of my 3 colors. Alright, what if we Sorceress Spyglass this Millennium Calendar? I do think we need our 4th land drop here. Let's check out the hand first and see. They're going to double up to 28. I think if they lose the ability to double, that card is probably not making it to 1,000 counters. Okay. None of these cards do anything. As far as Sorcerer's Spyglass goes. Mizium Tank kind of does. Like, you can stop them from crewing it. But it crews itself with a triggered ability. So it looks like the obvious choice is going to be Millennium Calendar. And that's all I got. Mana Confluence. And what do you think? Paradox Engine? Okay, Mizium Tank. That makes sense. Does this get a counter? No, it just gets +1/+1. It's got weird prowess. They could have given it prowess, is my understanding. Things that are not creatures can still get +1/+1. There's our planes. Okay. Let's put the Myth Realized down. And now, I realized that I said I was going to play the Boseiju and then forgot. But now I feel good about having done that. So, outsmarted myself. Or whatever the opposite of outsmarting yourself is. Is there anything we want to get with Enlightened Tutor that helps us with our Myth Realized? We cannot get another white source with it. That would be what I would want. Okay, so here's the... Oh, Beast Attack. Okay, that's fine. Do I want to kill the Mizium Tank here? I don't think so. I'm not that worried about it. All His Dust is kind of a nombo with Myth Realized, huh? Here's the field. That's pretty good. I'm gonna play that and Potion of Healing. And we'll keep chilling. Lore counter number 1. Next turn we get to Return to Dust if they play another relevant permanent. We are eventually dying to the Beast token, so that's a little scary. I think this turn we might look at sealing the Mizium Tank. Wow, they're in 5 colors over there. Pretty sick. Here's the War Leader's Call. It's going to trigger the tank. I don't think we can afford to take 10 here. So let's just crack this. And hope they play another relevant artifact or enchantment for our Return to Dust. And then we just have to get the Myth Realized big enough to block, I guess. No, they don't have anything else. Okay, Dread Mask blocks a 5/5. So that's pretty sick. Let's double check their hand here. So they can cast Sublime Epiphany, which is going to mess me up. That bounces my thing. Okay, confluence is gone, this is gone, this is gone. Counter a thing, counter an ability, bounce a thing, create a copy. Yeah, so I'm basically just dead to this card. I don't know how I'm going to beat this. Well, we can make the Dread Mask and then make them cast the Epiphany and then take a bunch of damage and probably die. I think that's fine. If they decide to activate the Vine Stalk and shrink the Dread Mask, then that's also really bad, because then I just have terrible blocks. This is pretty bad. I can hit the Calendar and the War Leader's Call, but then I'm just going to get obliterated by Sublime Epiphany, probably, if I ever let them untap. Alright, turns out that Boseiju land drop did matter, because I would be able to All Is Dust here, but instead I cannot do that. Well, if I don't force them to spend their mana on the 6-drop, then they're just going to attack me for a bunch with Vine Stalk and probably kill me. Don't like my spot either way. And that Calendar, it's ticking up. 42 counters. So I think their best line is probably just activate Vine Stalk, crack it in. But if I can get away with the Sublime Epiphany here. No, it looks like they found the line. Yeah. Okay, this is very bad. In fact, I now have to block the 5/5 if I want to not be dead. Oh, wait a second. No, turning my germ into a 3/3 makes it into a 9/9. Okay. Never mind. We're actually playing here. I totally forgot about that. Okay, so they can't shrink my germ. They went with nothing here. So if I block, take 5. Ooh, but if I kill the beast token, then I can Boseiju the Vine Stalk. Okay, I like that. I can also cast All Is Dust next turn. But then what? I'm mostly just losing, I think. Let's go like this. We have to Boseiju now so they can't Sublime Epiphany it. So let's crack in. I guess I could have done an extra 2 damage with that Myth Realized. That will probably come back to bite me. Okay, Boseiju is going to have to happen right now. I didn't have lethal there, did I? With the Lair of the Hydra? 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. No. Close, but not quite. Now I can return to dust on the War Leader's Call. Probably want to do that now as well. So they can hold up Sublime Epiphany and they can stay alive for 1 turn. I can activate the Myth Realized and they can counter the activation, but then I can activate it again. So they're probably just chilling here. Do I want to Enlighten Tutor to get an extra counter on the Myth? I think that's fine. Should have done it in my upkeep, but I missed the chance to put the stop there. Does any of this matter? Null Brooch is good. Yeah, Null Brooch is good enough. Let's activate this. They can counter the activation if they want. That would be the smart thing to do, because I am tapped out of white here. So if they counter this, I don't get to do it again, and they can bounce the Dreadmaw. Okay, so their modes are going to be what? Draw a card, bounce my Germ, or maybe even bounce my Dread Mask. That seems worse. And then counter the thing. Modes are bounce the Germ, counter the activation, and draw a card. Okay, makes sense. Now, I will activate this. X is 2. And bang. Put you all the way down to 3. I've got 2 lethal threats on the battlefield. Neither of them are easy to interact with at sorcery speed. I guess Myth Realized is basically just as vulnerable, because there aren't really any cards in the cube that just kill a creature but not some other type of permanent. There's the 3/3. It certainly blocks. Alright. 2 6/6s. Does that kill me? I can Allah's Dust. No, I can't Allah's Dust. I don't have enough mana. Okay, so if I make the Myth Realized and block, I have to block. I can block with Lair of the Hydra and Myth Realized, but then I have nothing to crack back with. Null Brooch is not only a turn too late, but I also put it on top of there on purpose, and now it's going to kill me. Wow, devastating summons. That's sick. Let's draw a card. Oh, that's not what this does. It gains 3 life. Okay, well that's a lot worse. Activate, block. I can't kill you on the backswing. But now I can tank. Oh, the Myth Realized can survive the block. Okay, that's good enough, I think. They can't swing out anymore, because I can block a 6/6 with a 1/1, and then I can turn on the Myth and eat the Hippo token, and then kill them on the backswing. So they have to attack with just 1 creature here. Okay, that's another way to do it. So if I block with just the Lair, I can equip the Dread Mask onto the Myth Realized and kill them, I believe. All right, I'll still have green, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I need to draw an untapped source for that to work. All right, well. Oh, I can put 1 more counter on it. Does that matter? We're still in Declare Attackers, so I'll block here. And then in Declare Blockers, I will activate Myth Realized. And now I need a land, an untapped land. Okay, that's not going to do it, but it does make another blocker. Wow, okay. So I cast this. I have to leave my colorless open. I can't attack. I need 2 blocks. Oh no, 2 blocks is dead. Yeah, I was dead anyway. Too little, too late. All right. Good game. Head to the sideboard. What do we want to do against 5-color devastating summons paradoxical outcome? No, sorry. What do we want to do against 5-color devastating summons paradox engine millennium calendar? I have no idea. If you have any ideas on what the sideboard plan is against that, definitely let me know. Yeah, I don't think any of these cards do anything against that. The sideboard ones, at least. So let's just run it back. All right, we're going to take the play. Here is our, once again, Mithralized with nothing to cast it. Yeah, we just have 4 white spells and no white sources. That's pretty bad. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, this one's better. Let's put Approach back. How many ways do we have of shuffling our library? We're going to want that eventually, but definitely not right now. We have at least 1 fetch land. I want to lead on Scene of the Crime. It does leave us open, once again, to just getting Stone Rained. But I want to be able to cast this Worn Power Stone on curve. Okay, drew the Idol. We can't activate it this turn, so okay, this is going to enter tapped because it does not work like the original fast lands. And then next turn we can Idol plus activate. We can even Idol plus activate plus gain 3 life. Dread Mask. That'll be for next turn. This is going to enter tapped. So let's cast this like this, I guess. We have the colorless source over here anyway. And then we're good to go. Fabled Passage. Natural Tron over there. Just kidding. They fetch for like all of those. When this enters the battlefield, you get some 1/1s. Okay, interesting. I have never seen this card in my life. But they're going to get 2 1/1s, it looks like. That's pretty cool if you can make it enter the battlefield again, which there are a bunch of ways to do in this cube. Gonna make a 0/1, gonna gain 3 life. Temple Garden. So we can play this tapped and we can make a Dread Mask. Or we can play it untapped, make a Dread Mask, and still make a 0/1 by sacking our spawn. Okay, great. Glad we're all on the same page. So the Goblin Soldiers can get First Strike. That doesn't seem to matter very much here. Hell to Pay. X damage to target creature. Oh, sick. I've never seen anyone target their own creature with Hell to Pay before. So they're going to make 2 tap treasures. Attacks are bad, and activate this. Okay. Ratchet Bomb. I don't think I want that right now. I don't think exiling the Hobgoblins or the treasure tokens make very much sense at the moment. So I'm thinking about just activating Lair of the Hydra and cracking in. I do want to leave up the Worn Power Stone. For the idol. And we'll attack like this. And put them to 11. Okay, opponent moves to combat. This attack looks free to me. They didn't agree. I guess I could block kind of for free to get a counter on my thing. Sunset Revelry. I guess I can cycle it. It's fine. Sure. Let's see what we can draw. I don't think it's going to get much better than this. Drew Jetmir's Garden. Gonna play that. More mana is good in this spot. And activating the lair doesn't really do that much. I guess we can make it a 2/2. They can make this into a 2/1 with fake first strike. So even if we make the lair into a 3/3, which is all of my mana, they can trade lair for Spire and Goblin Soldier. No, they can give everything first strike. Okay, attacks are all bad. Besides the germ. Sublime Epiphany, perhaps? They've got Omnath mana in their pool. Seed Spark. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. If green was spent to cast the spell, create 2 Saprolings. Okay, fine. They get 2 Saprolings. I wonder if this will be a game where we get to do Idol of the False Gods things. 8 counters is so many counters when this is the only way to make spawns. But if they overcommit, we can All is Dust. All of our permanents are colorless right now. Okay, that's a great reason to All is Dust. We could also just return to dust instead. Maybe that's better. Take out the Rise and the Bootlegger stash and save the All is Dust for later. Or we could play the All is Dust now, lure them into a false sense of security, and then 2-for-1 them again with the Return to Dust. This also cleans up the tokens that are blocking my lair. Okay, let's do it like that. Activate this first. I am going to shock this in. Oh, I've got 7 anyway. Didn't matter. Okay, get all those out of there. Next turn, we can crack in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lethal with the lair. Killer's Service makes a food, so that puts them up to 14. But if we force them to crack it... Oh no, that's not how it works. They can just turn it into a 4/4 right here. But I can force them to block with it. Swamp is good. Then we get to keep 1 additional token. Now, if we pay this 2 mana into making a token, we can pay 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we get the counter and the lethal attack. Okay. X is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 for the forced block. Put some counters here. That's getting pretty close. And now we crack in. Nice. All right. So we don't have lethal in the next turn because we sacked all the things. But pretty soon we're going to have this. What is this? An 8/8? Yeah. Oh, okay. They're +1/+1 counters. So it actually grows. But it will be an 8/8 with Annihilator too. Okay. They chose not to do the thing with their killer service. So I think I'm going to cast the Return to Dust here. Target this, white, white, colorless, colorless. And then we can turn, yeah, we can make our 0/1, and then we can turn this into a 3/3. And that'll be a good attack. Attack here. Put them to 8. Next turn might be Feast of Succession turn, although Restless Spire can take the Monarchy back pretty easily. We could block with the 0/1 and then sack it. Ooh, or Null Brooch. Do we want to go for Null Brooch here? That's pretty strong. If we Null Brooch and then we just hold up Idol of the False Gods, we can even Ratchet Bomb to kill their token. Okay, let's play out our hand. Plan to Null Brooch. Oh, this gets the Sublime Epiphany. Oh, they're going to bounce my Idol. Bummer. Okay, so they get a 2/2, they bounce my Idol, they counter my spell, they draw a card. I'm glad I ran that out first. Because now we get to cast the Null Brooch. And we also get to cast the Idol. And we can still activate the Idol or the Null Brooch. Okay, they've got 4 power, 6 if you count the Restless Spire. But now I've got Null Brooch plus Lair. Oh, I just let that resolve. Whoops. Well, hopefully that was bait. Mizium Tank. I suppose that is scarier than Mouth to Feed. I'm going to take 4 here down to 15. I've got no hand left. I've got a great blocker. This is getting very interesting. If I can counter a spell every turn, eventually I will get there with Idol of the False Gods. This I'm just going to play out. I wonder if it's crack Scene of the Crime time. I can do that end step. But I've got a lot of mana to work with here. Alright, I'll do that now. If it's another land, then okay. No love lost there, really. Okay, have to remember that I have this permanent on the battlefield that can counter things. Oh, Restless Vinestalk is terrifying. That goes right through my Null Brooch. Alright, headed to combat. I'm going to make sure to hold up 2 mana. And now end step, I will activate this. Okay. I actually get to play my land anyway because they didn't do anything. But I drew a land, so it does not matter. I'm just going to keep chilling. I've got enough mana to profitably block the Vinestalk. And eventually, I will have enough Eldrazi spawns to attack with my Idol. Also, Approach of the Second Sun is still on the bottom of my library, which is kind of funny. It means I can't really deck, even if I never shuffle. But we're pretty far away from having to worry about that. Hard Evidence is whatever. I don't care about the 0/3. Yep, Clue Token. To combat. No combat. And Eldrazi spawn. Seal of Primordium doesn't do much, but I am going to run it out because otherwise I'm probably going to discard it. This is a weird game. Feed. Feed is going to draw 1 card. That's fine. Null Brooch is weird because opponent always knows about it, so they can easily play around it by sandbagging key spells. Pretty interesting. It seems like it would be completely oppressive in a format where everything is a non-creature spell, but it actually has some super interesting play to it. Spawn number 3. Almost there. Only 5 to go. Oh, Druid class. Okay. That's kind of a win condition. How much mana can we sink into this? Probably a bunch. I want to hold up blocks. So I can make a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. Which they actually have reasonable blocks on right now. They can trade their whole board away, but then I just get them with Lair. That's interesting. Maybe I'll do that. No, I should wait until next turn, I think. I want to be able to block with the Lair. Okay. What next? Breeding Pool. Shocked In. Scary. What do they need all this mana for? Could be Firecat Blitz. Okay, beast attack plus second beast attack. That's pretty sick. I guess I'll counter the second one. They might not make the second one until next turn. Okay, they are headed to combat. They identified that it is smart to wait until next turn for the second copy. Triome. Oh, land. Okay. I think it's time. I'm going to play this land because... Oh. Apparently it gains me 1 life as well. I should probably yield to that. I want to activate this leaving a plains untapped because I want to target a plains with the trigger. So now I have an 11/11 plains, I believe. Now, they can turn on their 2/1, and they can put 6, 9, 13 in front of it. Am I winning the game if they do that? They can't really flash back their thing. I think I'm supposed to attack with this. If they shove their whole board in front of it, then that's terrible for them, right? Yeah, okay, trump block. I have created the Abyss. Jeez, this video is going to be so long. But these games have been fascinating. Definitely extremely dissimilar to a lot of the Magic that I've played before. And honestly, even quite dissimilar to the games that I played the first time I drafted this cube, which is definitely a mark in its favor. That stacks deck, I've never seen anything like before. All right, here's the second beast attack. I think this is probably my target for this. And this 5-color monstrosity is also really cool. Archdruid's Charm is going to kill my Null Brooch. Okay. Null Brooch down. Okay, so I can make the lair into a 2/2, but that doesn't help very much. I am just going to block. Okay, that's all I got here. Now my attack with lair is really good. Always yield to this. Gonna leave the idol up. Gonna double Abyss them this time. And they probably have something crazy that they needed to get through the Null Brooch with. So bracing myself for immediate death here. I suppose I could have put 2 more points of power into the lair and activated the idol with the spawns again, but that would not have mattered, given that it doesn't have trample or anything. Paradox Engine, Parallel Lives. That's wild. This deck is
Nuts. All right. I don't know if we're gonna be able to finish this. All right. We decided to open up a new room so we can finish the match out. So, yeah. Here's turn 2 myth realized, I guess. We're gonna try out this tempo plan, this mythical tempo plan. Millennium Calendar is here. I'm gonna play this and pass. Okay. I think this is a good opportunity to play my tap land, Field of the Dead. We could also play the Contaminated Landscape here to find the second white source for Return to Dust, since that's functionally a tap land anyway, and Field of the Dead is already a colorless source for Idol. Yeah, I like that line. Let's do that. Three counters. That is not quite 1,000, but we're getting there. Shocking the Steam Vents. And Killer Service. Okay. A good eventual target for Return to Dust. Let's go ahead and do this now. Grab a Plains. We can't actually hit Killer Service with Sorcerous Spyglass. Does this hit lands? Choose any card name. Oh yeah, okay, I can turn off Restless Finestock with this. That's probably pretty good. It only turns off mana abilities. So, oh, they named so many Restless lands. Okay, Restless Finestock. And Field. We've got one counter on our Myth realized. Next turn we can cast Idol and activate it, or we can cast Idol and attack for 2. Alright, there's the Rhino Warrior. Null Brooch is back. I'm really just not that worried about this Millennium Calendar. I guess I will have to be eventually. I can fire off the Return to Dust right now, but then I have to be worried about this 4/4. Other option being Idol plus 0/1. I am a little concerned about more 4/4s, and eventually the Myth Realized will be big enough to block the 4/4. Let's do this now. Next turn can be Idol plus blocker. This thing doesn't have trample. Hallowed Fountain. That's going to come in tapped. Hard Evidence. And attack. Yeah, Hard Evidence plus Killer Service is pretty sick. All is Dust. Not the best of draws. Okay, I can block the 4/4 and sack, or I can try to ramp with it, but I'm far away from that really doing anything. They take their card. I think I'd rather soak up the 4 damage here. Eventually the Myth Realized will get there. War Leader's Call. Scary, but nothing to be done. The crab token can get in for a 1 now. Oh my god. Wild. Oh, they don't want to get in with the crab. They want to block with the crab? Okay. Maybe they think it has Defender. That's also possible. Go to blocks. Does this have to be sacrificed or... No, she just dies. So it doesn't matter. We'll go to damage. Hearthcraft. Okay. This only untaps basic lands, right? So currently they can only make blue mana with it. Alright, we've drawn another double black spell that we have no hope of casting. But we can put the Seal of Primordium onto the battlefield now. And we are 1 spell away from Myth Realized profitably blocking the 4/4. Oh, it's a 5/5 now, right, from the War Leader's Call. But we can kill the War Leader's Call if we need to. Earthcraft plus Paradox Engine is also very cool. There are a lot of really neat things going on in this deck. Okay, we are going to once again block. Go to blockers, block here. Now, if we can find an untapped mana source or a non-creature spell, I guess we can just pass with the Myth Realized activation. I want to see if I can get them with the Myth Realized by growing it and then blowing up the War Leader's Call. What are we going to get with Enlightened Tutor? Not sure. Is it time for Sublime Epiphany, bouncing my Myth Realized and undoing all of my beautiful work? That will almost certainly kill me. And it will also make me sad. Oh. They want to Vinestalk. Make a 5/5. That might just be lethal anyway. Oh, I was supposed to blow this up now. Well, too late for that. So I can make a blocker with Idle, and I can still turn on Myth Realized because of the Enlightened Tutor. They get to turn their crab into a 3/3, which will actually be a 4/4, but then it'll turn back into a 3/3. And then I can eat a 4/4. I can block the 6/6. Does this have trample? Yeah, it does. Okay, so I can eat a 4/4, and then I'll take 8 damage down to 6. Danger. But I will be able to Spyglass them again next turn. Okay, Vinestalk activation is good. Beginning of combat step is good. Attack trigger presumably targets crab. Okay. Now, still in declare attacks. Destroy this. Cast Enlightened Tutor. And activate this, and also activate this. And then Enlightened Tutor is going to get something. Ratchet Bomb, that's pretty good. Kill your tokens, kill your remaining tokens, and spyglass your thing. Okay, sounds good to me. Now, we will block a 4/4 and a 4/4, and we will take 8. And then we'll cast Ratchet Bomb. And we'll cast Spyglass. Okay, Firecat Blitz is just going to kill me, probably. Well, in any case, we have to name the thing. Restless Vinestalk. Otherwise we die. And then we can actually hold up Ratchet Bomb, and that will save us from Firecat Blitz. Okay, what do we got here? So they've still got these cards. They played Plains Return. So what is this? The back of this? No, it's Paradox Engine. So I want to kill their tokens now before they can use them for mana. Is that true? They're going to make a lot of mana. No, I think I have to wait for the Firecat Blitz to go onto the stack. They do get to untap their treasures. This is very sick. That's their only attack, but I think I still have to do it. They used the Paradox Engine. Oh, Boseiju is a crazy draw. Okay. Activate this. Attack you for 7. They can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Firecats next turn. So a land kills me. Well, if they spend all their mana doing that, I might be able to block one of them. This is a tough game. Okay, no land, maybe. Gonna make the Cauldron? Yeah. Okay. And this thing has flashback, but they only have 2 mountains. So Cauldron is fine. Discard Hell to pay, make a Pest. Untap their land, make 3 Firecats, but they can't make red mana with their Earthcraft. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's not fine a turn from now, but it's fine for the moment. Okay, gonna make my friendo here. But we're 1 mana short of all his dust. Gotta play the lair. Activate Myth Realized. Block. They get 2 combats with their fire cats. Tap each attacking creature. So, how do I stop the fire cats? I cannot stop the fire cats. I think I am just dead. I can play Null Brooch and counter the fire cats. Okay. Okay, that's something. I can play this. I can cast the Null Brooch. And I can counter the Firecat Blitz. I block the Rebel token. I take 1 down to 5. And then I die. Okay, this kills me anyway. I'm short 1 mana. Fabled Passage is even worse. Now they can cast it both times, and I'm super duper dead. Oh, actually, no. Okay, I'm just dead on board. The Firecat Blitz doesn't even matter. That is what my math was. But they have to cast it so that I have to spend the mana countering it. Otherwise, I can spend that mana animating my blocker. Okay, there's the Firecat Blitz. X is 3. I'm already dead on board. Okay, so they're gonna untap those things. Firecats kill me on board. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any outs here. I guess I'll just let this resolve. Nothing matters. Good games, opponent. Your deck is really sick. It looks like a mess, but it's actually brilliant. Like all the pieces fit together. Very cool. The Paradox engine with the Earthcraft with all the tokens, and then the tokens with, there's Parallel Lives, there's a War Leader's Call. It all fits together. The War Leader's Call is good with the Killer Service to sack your token over and over again and have a repeatable source of damage. Yeah, very cool.
All right, that was Creatureless Cube. Thanks again to The Divination for hosting this draft. Thanks again to Ollie for putting together a really sweet list. Like I said during the draft, I played against several decks that I wouldn't have even imagined were possible based on my first experience with the cube, which I think is so awesome. The dedicated stacks decks we played against in match 2 and the 5-color combo control, I don't even know what to call it. Beautiful 5-color something that we played against in match 3. And again, I think that's just a hallmark of a really well put together cube. If you want to see the list, it's going to be in the description. I'm going to put Ollie's original paper list in there. We had to make a couple of changes, again, to kind of support Moto. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed another kind of weird cube, and I'm going to try my best to keep bringing them onto the channel. I think the next one we're going to be looking at is Matt Grenier's Stormtime, so keep an eye out for that. But until then, we'll see you next time.